different ways, the rules around it. That will definitely not be there on the first release, I can assure you of that. There's a lot more work to go into that. As he smiles, he knows how complicated this project can be. But the idea is to refresh at a certain rate. We don't know what that formula is, once a month maybe, once a quarter, once a year, or maybe only when there's activity on that property. We don't know yet, but we're running a lot of different ways of looking at this. But again, it's a concept, it's an idea. We'd like your feedback on it. We do have a user group, 150, realtors, brokers, association executives, MLS executives, kind of good mix appraisers who constantly give us feedback on helping us define a lot of this. So we're being practical and not simply going, oh wow, this is cool and let's go with it. Let's be practical. As Dale Ross says, let's be on the cutting edge, not the bleeding edge of the technology. Yes, sir.
I guess the Q-score is kind of a confidence interval, and it would actually change based upon the way you define your neighborhood and the comps that you're using in this report. So it'll actually change if you use different comps.
I can see somebody trying to manipulate data that will manipulate that score, like a developer or something like that,
Good.
And I can see that Q-score becoming a very huge thing, saying, well, my development has a Q-score updated with that.
I like that. I'm going to go through a couple of things and then answer questions just to make sure that we cover it. I'm being sensitive to the time. I can stay here and answer additional questions later, but I don't want others who need to go to miss anything in the product. So here we are. This is another property that happens to be a pre-foreclosure notice of default. Again, this is a different data set that we're purchasing. I know in some markets it's much more relevant or needed than others. We're finding in some markets our members are out there purchasing membership of Realty Track and other third-party providers of this kind of data. So again, part of that membership benefit, saving you cost, is offering this kind of data, making it available through the platform for you. It's complete. It has the history of the distressed information, the recording date, what was the default amount, and a complete history of how, in this particular example, if you read through it, how the homeowner actually was brought up to speed in their payments, and they actually kept their home. A lot of valuable information here for your prospecting. I know in some markets you could use this and to predict a short sale or something like that and prospect with them. But it's certainly available for you. Or if you have a buyer looking for things like this, everybody's looking for a deal these days, right? But I read on the news, the market's down. What do you mean we can't negotiate $100,000 now, right? Okay. So I'm going to go back to any commercial brokers in the house, commercial use. As you can imagine, a lot of these analytics and reporting tools are that much more valuable when you have a commercial client, right? They're talk about analytical, they're always looking for those things. We have a lot of work to do on the commercial side. We are relying on anybody who can help us, give us feedback. We do have, on the board of advisors, we have 2 commercial brokers who are helping us with this. Any additional feedback we welcome. We have much to learn here. The data, as you can imagine, is far more fragmented than the residential data. So we're looking at different ways to aggregate it, bring it here, and so we can incorporate all of this into it. But the vision is to succeed at that and include commercial property here. Again, in this case, it's a lease, RBM, pictures, same kind of information available, charts, graphs for you, all the tools. Or perhaps eventually we begin defining more commercial use reports that we need to make available, or charts. Again, there's a lot of possibilities. Once you have that core data available, to define specific chart, graph, or report becomes fairly easy to implement, right? Okay. Next, I'm going to quickly show you some of the reports. I've begun mentioning it because some of you are saying, all right, fine, as you shared, how can I share this with my prospect? What are the tools? What are some of the things I can do that? We created a library of reports, and we're going to continue building this library that you can generate as a PDF, email it, or print it, and deliver it that way. Eventually, that's going to develop into different sets. For example, now we have it mostly for agents, realtors. I can see different reports specific to commercial, perhaps, or brokers who have offices in multiple markets and they want to run a report, aggregate report in one place of market share and things like that. We can definitely see those things developing here. So for our example here, let's go with a seller's report. You can add any one of these elements, which is from your profile. You give us your firstborn, and we give you a report. It's a very simple transaction. I think it's fair, right? It's a 20-page report. It's complete with all of the photos, all of the data. If you've modified the refined value, that refined value is there and how you modified it. And that historical events chart and all of these data sets, all presented in a professional way for you. A friend of mine, Josh, a plug to Josh, a great realtor in Southern California, my friend, he said, well, may I have, is this going to have a mobile app eventually? I said, yeah, of course. So can I send this report through my, and I'm like, yeah. Then he thought through, he's like, nah, I don't want to do that. I said, why? What happened? It's like, I want them to think I actually worked on this. I may say, I'm working on your report. There's sometime midnight, several hours later, click and send it in. It would be, far more beneficial to me if I do that. And I said, now I know how you got the commission dollar on selling me the home, huh? I see your tricks now, Josh. All right. So we're gonna scroll this up, and lastly, I want to talk about the community again. Remember I said this is like a lounge, an area for all of the peers to collaborate. You could invite, you can incorporate your Twitter, your Facebook account here. So anybody that's a realtor, broker, who uses Facebook and you've befriended them, you can invite them here. So their tweets or their Facebook updates can be listed right here for you. Or you can just invite others to the system, use the platform offered. Why should you say you want to do that? Some applications I learned, again, through my interactions and out there discussing this, that what if you want to build a network of kind of just referrals? Florida, New York, and you want to create a group like-minded, maybe from the same company, a brokerage that you work with, whatever. But you can certainly, that's one application, one way you could do that. Another is by posting questions. I know some of you invest in Active Rain. That's another cost that you have, and perhaps you could do similar things here instead of participating and paying for that. You could post a question and have your peers help you answer it, or you can start a topic and collaborate with everybody nationwide on that topic.